How's it going, Eliminators? Today we're going to be working on a Murray, and I'm going to show you how to save over $100 if you're in Canada and $30 if you're in the States on doing a switch swap instead of replacing it. So let's get right into it. Winter is upon us here in Canada, and with that we got all sorts of calls for snowblower fixes, and every day it's something new that I get to work on. Even if it's the same snowblower, chances are it's a different problem. So we got a Murray here that I'm working on, and a customer dropped it off, said that his chute wouldn't spin, so it was angled to the left and he couldn't move it. And on this one, you guys can see it's got an electric motor with a gear, and that goes to the teeth on the chute here. And up on the back handles of the snowblower here, you have two switches. You have one here, it's an up and a down, and that controls your chute deflector. And then over here you have a left and a right, and that controls your, obviously, left and right for your chute. The problem is our customer snapped the top of the switch. It looks a little something like this. So middle position is off, and left is left, right is right. Now what I did, because these switches here, guys, they have plugs underneath them, you guys can see, and it's a weird prong shape. But this switch, if you have to order that, is in Canada, it's $109.99, and you can get it from Sears US for $28. The problem is, here in Canada, if you guys aren't aware, Sears Canada went bankrupt and are no longer a company, so Sears US took over, and unfortunately Sears US doesn't ship anything to Canada, so you have to have like a P.O. box, and then we'd have to go over and pick it up in the States, and then have to pay duty on top of that, and well, it's quite a bit of work just to get one little switch. Now this is a Murray, and Murray is owned by MTD, and MTD is, I guess, a Sears company, but they all use the same switches. Now if Sears was smart, they would have made the prongs in this switch here different than the one on this one, so that they could sell you a different switch. But they don't. The connectors are the same. So this switch over here on the left side controls your deflector. It's an up and a down, but it's physically the same switch. And what's important is that the prongs here are the same. And this is a 6 prong, so you guys can see there's 2 horizontal ones, and then there's like 4 on a 45-degree angle on each of the ends. So the cool thing is, on this side, the plug is exactly the same. So all I'm really doing is I'm taking a up and a down switch, and I'm gonna rotate it to a right and a left switch. See that? So we're just gonna replace it, and it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna work perfect because what I did was I unplugged this one and I plugged it into here, and I'll get this on a video to show you guys, but I plugged that into here, I fired up the machine, and I hit it left and right, and it works perfect. So I got a snowblower running now, and using the up and down switch, you guys are going to be able to see, I'm going to click to the right, and it goes to the right. I'm going to click to the left, and it goes to the left. So realistically, you don't need an up and down deflector because it's got an adjustable, I guess you could call that a wing nut. So instead of having an up and a down, which he really doesn't need, he can do that by hand. At least now he has a right and a left, and he can control his chute as he needs to. And this job literally took not even a couple minutes, but I wanted to get it on a video because, yeah, I mean, here in Canada, that switch on Amazon is $109, and that's crazy expensive for just a little measly switch, guys. You don't want to pay that much money. Even 30 bucks. I mean, it's crazy to think that I can just steal this switch and put it over here, and now everything works as it should. Now, as for this switch over here, I don't want to leave this exposed, so what I think I might do is I'm going to take this switch out of here, and then I'm going to pop it back in here and plug it in there so that it just covers up these connectors, and that I actually have something going into these plugs. You could potentially tape this up with electrical tape, but you know, there might get moisture in there, and then it might freeze, and you might have an electrical issue. So what I advise is plugging the old broken switch from over here into here, and then just pop it back in, and he won't even have to use that anymore. He can just use the switch over here, and that's it. He'll have a right and a left, and he'll be able to go back to snow blowing as he was before the switch was broken. And the part number for that switch is 1754865YP. So you guys can look it up and see the price for yourself. Now, he also has a hand warmer switch here. This is a HHG, so a heated hand grip switch. That's how they label it on the product manual. So basically I was thinking about stealing this switch, but the thing is, this one is an on and it stays, as you guys can see. So he would have to physically click it back, and I didn't really want to do that. Whereas this one, you click it and it has a spring return to the middle off position. So again, you know, just a short little video on how to save yourself a little bit of money by swapping a switch instead of replacing it with an OEM component. Now, the one piece of advice I could give you before you go ahead and pop this switch into here is make sure that your right is right and your left is left. So just mark it, or remember that you know, in this case, down is going to be right and up is going to be left. And here's your model and serial number. So the finished product looks a little something like this. We got our broken switch over on the left side. We got our good switch on the right side. Down, up, but now your down is your right and your up is your left. Look at that. Works perfect, guys. So like I said, now our customer can get back to snow blowing his driveway, and he doesn't have a lot of money out into it just for my labor, which really it only took like 2 minutes, but I'm sure he'll be more than pleased once he sees our results. And if you guys still want to use your deflector here, basically now that you don't have a deflector up and down switch, you can just come over here to this wing nut, loosen it off, just grab that with your hand, crank it up, tighten it back up, or push it down, set it in any position that you want, and you can just operate that by hand now. So a quick little video on how to save yourself a little bit of money, and hopefully be able to fix that on your own, guys. So if you guys enjoyed the video, think about leaving me a thumbs up. You can click here to subscribe. You can click over here to watch one of my previous videos. I upload every week, so be sure to come on back and check the channel out next week to see what we got new. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.